No, Matheson, I will not take a call just now, even from Winston. He can wait till I have finished addressing these good people. Pardon? Well, tell him we cannot work miracles, honestly. It's not like the man hasn't served himself. He should know how long these things take. Tell him I will call him as soon as this is over. No, it won't be too late. The Prime Minister keeps very strange hours, don't you know? Terribly sorry about that, my friends. Understandably, the PM is a little tense. Excited, even, at the moment. And, well, let's be honest, aren't we all? How many generations of Britons can say they have fought to defend their island, eh? Precious few, and my word, it doesn't half stir one's soul now, does it? I can tell you that the latest reports indicate that the Jerrys have managed to expand their foothold on the south coast and are attempting to repeat their blitzkrieg strategy and make a hasty grab for London, it seems. And I mean hasty, for they do not yet know what we have prepared for them, thanks to all your hard work. We've let them have the first 30 miles or so, with just the kind of resistance that they would expect from a nation that lost the better part of its materiel at Dunkirk. But it is a ruse, ladies and gentlemen, a ruse. If they advance only a little further, they will find their progress checked by the powerful guns of the Triskele gun carriers, hot off the production line, which have been deployed and stationed to cover bridges, road junctions, and other natural choke points. By this we will delay their advance. Meanwhile, hidden away in barns and warehouses across the south of England are small units armed with the new KT Mark II cruiser tanks, which will break cover and attempt to encircle and cut off the advancing Germans from their supply lines or attack them in their flanks and rear, spreading panic and cutting off their retreat. Any Matilda IIs we have left that have not been sent to assist Wavell in North Africa, they've been dug in to defend London itself and other key strategic targets, and will prove nearly impossible to dislodge. Thus, the mood is one of confidence, my friends. Take courage. As good King George reminded us of Nelson's famous decree, England expects that every man shall do his duty. With his own decree, that Britain now requires that every one of us do our duty to resist the Hun by any and all means. And by God, have the stories I have heard of our civilians' resistance to the invader made for heartening reading. There was the fishing boat that rammed and sunk a landing barge. There was the vicar and church warden who scattered an entire company of Germans when they threw their beehives over the church wall and into their midst. Oh, and I very much enjoyed the story of the pub landlord and lorryman who managed to send a full street of Jerrys into retreat by unloading their lorry of beer barrels and sending them cascading down the village high street. And of course, we have all heard of the petrol station owner who gallantly rigged his very own business to explode, taking 4 Panzers and a few half-tracks with it when they stopped to refuel. Perhaps the greatest blow to the enemy's morale came when a German major was ambushed and killed when inspecting a captured village hall by an 84-year-old widow, armed only with her knitting needles and the latest edition of the Daily Telegraph. So bemused were his men by this unprecedented display of geriatric ferocity that they simply let her walk free. If only you could put such grandmothers into mass production. We spare a thought, though, for our veterans of the Great War, who have been forced now to awaken skills learned in the trenches that they, no doubt, would rather have remained buried in the past. And yet, their leadership and courage under fire in their communities has already and will continue to prove invaluable. But I digress. We could speak for hours of the Jerrys bloodying their iron fist upon the granite stiff upper lip of the great British public, but there will be plenty of time to reminisce of their finest hour over a pint when the last Hun has been driven back into the sea. Yes, we will not give them ground forever. Soon we will dig in our heels and counter-attack. The War Office, at my urging, has drawn up a specification for a new tank which will serve 2 purposes. The first, to halt the German advance with its impenetrable armour, and second, to support and defend our brave infantrymen as they stage the ensuing counter-attack. Staging a naval invasion of the British Isles is undoubtedly a huge and costly undertaking, and so we can expect that Hitler will not surrender the ground he has gained lightly. They will attempt to dig in until reinforcements can be shipped across the Channel. This is where our current infantry tank, the Matilda II, falls down. It is an excellent vehicle in many respects, and I have personally lobbied for it to be produced in far greater numbers in the past. Its armour remains exemplary, but the 2-pounder gun is most certainly not. The time has come for an infantry tank that mounts a weapon that can kill both tanks and blast away entrenched positions in equal measure. But what such gun is there, I hear you ask? Well, while you have been designing tanks, I myself have not been idle. The need for such a useful multi-purpose tank gun, such as would be suited to an improved infantry tank, has been at the forefront of my mind for some time now, and I have been pulling as many strings as I can lay my hands on to see this done. And I'm pleased to say my efforts have borne some fruit. The 3-inch 2000 rate gun is indeed a powerful weapon, but it is too large and unwieldy for anything other than a dedicated tank destroyer in truth. However, the 76mm caliber does seem to have a lot of potential in my eyes at least, and it was on this that I asked my focus group to, focus. They have returned the following options, which can be put into production relatively quickly and easily. Firstly, we managed to secure the rights to produce a license-built version of the American 75mm M2 gun. The second option is to resume production of a Great War-era weapon, the 13-pounder 900-weight anti-air gun, for which an armor-piercing round has already been prototyped. Both offer a powerful HE shell for infantry support, yet can punch through a considerable amount of armor at the same time, outperforming the 2-pounder in every regard except rate of fire. Now, as ever, I have gathered all of you here because you are the heads of companies that the War Office has deemed capable not only of building, but also designing and prototyping armoured vehicles for the war effort. And today, I have a new request to put to you. The War Office would like you to design an improved infantry tank incorporating one of these 2 guns, or indeed the 25-pounder, if you can get that to fit. The bad news is that they have specified that this design must have no less than 5 inches of effective frontal armour. An unprecedented amount to be sure, and heavy, but essential, it is believed, to be able to resist the dreaded T.E.A.B.A.G flak gun when used in an anti-tank role. Churchill wants a tank that can weather anything the Hun can throw at it, and so do I. And, well, we usually get what we want in the end. The good news, however, is that with production of the A-13 cruiser being scaled back, I am now able to offer you Nuffield-built Liberty engines. With the increased horsepower available and your proven design skills, you shouldn't have too much problem meeting the armour requirements while maintaining the 15-mile-an-hour standard for infantry tanks. Now, please see the following specification. All of the parameters are entirely your choice, if they are not listed in the specification. Vehicles that do not meet the fixed criteria in any of the categories will be disqualified, scoring 0 for that category. So please, do read the specification very carefully before you set to work. Your deadline, ladies and gentlemen, is a fortnight from today, so that's, the 25th of December, Christmas Day. Not that there's likely to be much for Christmas this year. Perhaps the Bosch will agree to a truce for old time's sake, eh? Anyway, qualifying vehicles will be judged on the basis of how much they exceed the specification criteria and by testing on our proving ground. The successful bidder will have their design pressed into immediate production to replace the Matilda II, and doubtless receive the adoration of our infantry tank crews. Now remember, chaps, your design proposals are an essential part of the war effort. We need you to build the tank that can turn the tide against the Germans. And as I look across this assembled company here tonight, I am confident that our fate rests in very good hands. So, to your drawing boards, good people. There is no time to delay. All right, Matheson. Yes, I'll speak to Winston now. Just give me 1 second.